Welcome back to my 7th episode of EHPN. I have my second guest on the show. His name, a good friend of mine, Sherman Chan. Thanks for being. Check my fucking. No. You already So welcome back to my 8th episode of EHPN. I have my second guest on the show, Sherman Chan. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. So right off the bat, 2 weeks away is the MLB trading deadline. Not too much chatter going on, but hopefully by when the date comes up, there'll be more rumors or more moves going on. So in terms of the Giants, last year they traded Zach Wheeler for Carlos Beltran. Unfortunately, that didn't work out for them. So my first question for you, Sherman, who do you think the Giants are going to go after, and what holes do they need to fill for this upcoming trading deadline?
Well, keep in mind the Giants depleted their farm system the past 2 years, so any of their moves should be relatively minor before the trade deadline. I believe the Giants should go after an established closer. We all know that Casilla is struggling and Romo is more of a setup guy. A couple of names that I'll throw out are Brett Myers of the Astros and Matt Capps of the Twins. And I believe these guys would improve our bullpen greatly.
And I agree. I mean, these are Brian Sabian players. They're not going to be costing us too much. Castillo has been a surprise the whole season. I mean, he's always been an emotional reliever, but this year he's been a solid closer up till now. And Romo is not a closer. He's a great setup man. So yep. Capps or Myers would fill in that gap. So in terms of hitting, who do you think we should go after?
I believe the Giants should go after Josh Willingham of the Twins or Chase Headley of the Padres. Giants would acquire the power bat they sorely need, and also both players can play multiple positions on the field. Also, if Belt and Blanco continue to struggle, Willingham and Headley are capable replacements.
And again, those are Sabian players. They're never going to be stars, but they will be an upgrade because our hitting is pretty bad still. It's better than last year, but still pretty bad. Tim Lincecum, he's the worst pitcher in baseball right now, and who would have thought of that? I mean, you said last year that his numbers are going down. I don't remember, it was specific statistics. I don't remember what it was, but you said it yourself that his numbers were going down every year. His dominance is going down. But who would have thought it would have been this bad? Yeah. So my second question to you is, what do you think the Giants or Bochy should do with Lincecum?
Well, keep in mind that Lincecum has minor league options. So therefore, I think the best option is to send him down to AAA. This will give him a chance to fix his mechanics in a lower pressure situation and help build his confidence. In the meantime, the Giants could start Brad Penny for a few starts.
And Brad Penny's a very suitable start. I mean, he's probably not going to be as good as he was with, when he had his first stint with us, but he's still more than capable of being a good fifth starter. I have to politely disagree with you. I feel like we still need him. He still has talent, but we need him up in the majors. But I agree that he needs to be in less pressure situations. So say long relief, the garbage innings. And I know for me and you, I feel like I'm very optimistic. I'm sure you are too. That Lincecum will be back in his original form. He's facing the Astros on Saturday. They're a AAA team pretty much, so I think he'll do good that time, and hopefully it'll continue throughout the second half. So let's get into the rest of the MLB. A couple of names I've been throwing out have been Matt Garza, Dempster of the Cubs, Cole Hamels of the Phillies, and Zach Greinke of the Brewers. Of those four, or maybe other players, who do you think is staying and who do you think is moving?
Well, of that list, I believe that Cole Hamels and Zach Greinke are more likely to move to other teams. Both are free agents after this season, and if their respective teams don't sign them to contract extensions, expect them to be in a different uniform before the trade deadline.
And the Phillies, they've been a huge bust.
Right.
second highest payroll in baseball. And I mean, they've been plagued by injuries, so it's understandable. I mean, you know, unfortunately, you know, this happens. I personally don't think they should be sellers because, you know, they have so much talent on that team. And maybe Hamels I could understand trading away because he may not sign with them, but I wouldn't go out all out fire sale because we've heard names such as Victorino and Pence, and I don't think you should be giving up. Those guys are very solid. But the teams we've heard for Hamels have been the Dodgers and the Angels. And in terms of Greinke, the only team I've heard is the Texas Rangers. Since the Angels are in the running for Hamels, they got to do something too. Greinke probably I don't think will move. But you know, the teams that have shown interest already for him in the offseason has been the Kansas City Royals, and I don't know why they would pay $100 million for him. You know, they're a rebuilding team, and that's the last thing they need. So, you know, we'll see what happens. Going back to the trading deadline, why do you think there hasn't been much talk or chatter so far at this trading deadline?
Well, this season, MLB has expanded the playoff series, specifically the addition of an extra wild card spot for each league. More teams will be in contention in September. Last time I checked, 21 out of 30 teams have a realistic chance of winning the division or at least a wild card spot. Therefore, we can expect more buyers and sellers for the trade deadline.
And this is, I think, when I first heard this, I thought this was stupid. I think 4 teams is good enough. The 5th team ruins, to me, it ruins the essence of September, the trading deadline, even the waiver deadline in August. I mean, you know, before, you know, what, 2 weeks before, there was always been a lot of chatter. Now this year, and a little last year too, but this year especially, like with this new team, a lot of teams, like you said, a lot of teams still could contend for that 5th spot, and that just ruins it. It's like, you know, there's more buyers and sellers. Not the demand for good players is going to be high, but then, you know, the team pretty much has to root out its whole farm system to get a decent player now, because, you know, otherwise that seller will go to another buyer.